Hello and welcome to today's Office Hours presentation. This is Paul Hoyt. Our Office Hours presentations are a relaxed, informal mentoring program that we do at noon Pacific time almost every Monday. These recordings and the slides and any special handouts and exercises that we have associated with these presentations are archived in the members area at the Paul Hoyt website /tribe. And then all of these recordings are available on the YouTube channel. We're going to announce that here in a couple of weeks when I attend my next CEO Space conference. But we have been making the recordings available for free. You still have to be a member of the Paul Hoyt tribe in order to access the slides, the exercises, the handouts, all the other documents and templates that are in the Paul Hoyt library, and to attend these calls and visit with them live so you can get your questions answered and maybe even participate in discussions. The reason I do this is because I know that being a successful small business owner can be a great experience, but I also know that it's tough. There's a lot to learn. You need education, training, tools, and the team in order to be successful. And I want you to get to know me, because when you get to know me, you'll realize that I really do care about you. First and most importantly, I do care about you. I want you to succeed in every area of your life, whatever that means to you. I want you to find the greatness, the happiness, the divinity that each one of us has within us, and then I want you to remember it, embrace it, and live it every single day. And my vision is to help millions of CEOs and entrepreneurs accelerate their business growth and enjoy greater harmony and balance in their lives. The agenda for these office hours sessions are the same. We have an in-depth discussion of a business success principle. I offer some closing remarks, special offers, and an invitation for next week's session. And then we have open questions and answers. First of all, questions and discussion around the topic of the day, and then we open it up to anything that anybody wants to talk about or any questions that people want to ask. I encourage you to join us with the Facebook Brilliant Business Group, which can be accessed with facebook.com/groups/brilliant business, where you can make your comments, ask questions, share insights and takeaways from this call and from anything that you want. It's a fairly active group, so if you have any questions at all about business or just want to share something that's exciting that's happened to you or share a celebration or something, please post it in the Brilliant Business Group, and we'll all jump in and support you however we can. I also encourage you to like my business page on Facebook if you haven't already. We're getting close to a milestone of 500 likes there, which I really appreciate. And every day I'm posting an Energy of the Day message every morning and a business lesson of the day 5 nights a week to the group. We celebrated last week 1 year, 365 consecutive days of posting an Energy of the Day message on my Facebook page. So I'm very excited about that. I'm a big believer in self-discipline and personal discipline, and that's been a wonderful exercise for me to get up every single morning and say something positive to my community. Maybe a little inspiration, maybe a little question, stimulate their thoughts just a little bit. That's what my Energy of the Day message is all about. If you join the Brilliant Business Group, then you'll get a notification when that posting comes out every single day. Today's topic is on Envision, Plan, Act, and Grow Rich, around the concepts and principles in the very famous book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, one of the very first inspirational books that I was ever made aware of, thanks to my father, who's on the call today, who brought a copy home or had a copy, a long time ago when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. So it's been nearly 50 years that I've been familiar with Think and Grow Rich, and I've read it a few times in the last, in the last 20 years or so. There's a lot of very powerful themes in this book that we're going to talk about today. As always, I relate the subject matter of the day to one or more of the key performance areas, and Think and Grow Rich is right smack dab in the area of leadership. I often say, as a leader, it's your responsibility to build a great team. It's your responsibility to have a winning mindset and then motivate and inspire the people that you have on your team through your winning mindset. And that's one of the key messages of Think and Grow Rich. So in today's presentation, we'll give a slight overview of the book, Think and Grow Rich. We'll talk about the fundamentals of success, the 4 fundamentals of success that I got out of the book when I read it. And we'll talk a little bit about goal achievement at the end and then sum it all up to the bottom line. So first, Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich was published in 1937 as our nation was recovering from the Great Depression, which started in the stock market crash of October 1929, I believe it was. And it's the culmination of knowledge that Napoleon Hill got from an interaction that he had with a research project sponsored by Andrew Carnegie, sponsored in the sense of facilitated by and encouraged by, but not sponsored in the sense of gave him any money to actually do this. Andrew Carnegie said, I will introduce you to some of the most powerful people in the world, and you get to interview them and see what you can gather about their common themes of success. And that's what Think and Grow Rich was all about. It took him, I think, a dozen years or so to visit all these folks and another 4 or 5 years or so to publish the book in 1937. It synthesizes the best advice from the titans of the industry of the day, including Andrew Carnegie, Edison, Wrigley, Darrow, Eastman, the guy who generated Eastman Kodak, Roosevelt, Schwab, Rockefeller, Bell, and many, many other people, lots of folks that Napoleon Hill had an opportunity to talk to. And when he wrote this book, and when I read the book, I think there were 4 fundamentals of success that came out of this book that we're going to talk about in detail, each one of them. The first one is that your attitude is the most critical component of your success. Secondly, that attitudes are controllable, that you have the opportunity to program yourself to have a better attitude. Third, you simply can't do it alone. And fourth, that, hey, there's something magic going on here with life. I sum these all up into what I call the 5 C's of success. Connect with your passion, control your thoughts, condition your subconscious mind, collaborate with great people, and then create and execute great plans. And then you can have the success that you want. The messages that Napoleon Hill has in the book, Think and Grow Rich, have been given many, many, many times before. About the oldest reference that I could find was Heraclitus, I'm not sure I'm mispronouncing that, who was a Greek philosopher, from 500 BC or so, who said, and I quote, "The soul is dyed in the color of its thoughts. Think only on those things that are in line with your principles and can bear the light of day. The content of your character is your choice. Day by day, what you do is who you become." And there's been many, many other messengers, too, echo these messages from Think and Grow Rich. Orson Swett Marden began publishing Success Magazine in 1897. William James, the father of psychology, noted that among men's incredible great talents and strengths is the ability to program themselves at the subconscious level. James Allen, in his book As a Man Thinketh, and Florence Scovel Shinn, in her book The Game of Life and How to Play It from 1925, also echo the messages that are in Think and Grow Rich. And by the way, the book As a Man Thinketh and The Game of Life and How to Play It and this book, Think and Grow Rich, are all available free on the internet. Since they're out of copyright, they're well over 50 years old, you can get these books for free, download them and read them for yourself, which I strongly encourage you to do. And since Napoleon Hill published Think and Grow Rich, there's been a lot of other messengers too. Norman Vincent Peale, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor, and Les Brown are some of my favorite motivational, inspirational speakers, every one of whom is echoing the principles that are in the book Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich has 15 different chapters. The thoughts are things: desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, decision, persistence, the power of the mastermind, the mystery of sex transmutation, the subconscious mind, the brain, the sixth sense, and the sixth ghost of fear. We're going to talk about those chapters, but I've got them organized into the 4 critical concepts that I have. Here's concept number 1. Your attitude is the most critical component of your success, which he talks about in chapter 2, desire, and the other chapters on faith, imagination, decision, persistence, and the sixth ghost of fear. In the chapter on desire, he says that the starting point of all achievement, The first step towards success is your desire. And a direct quote, through some strange and powerful principle of mental chemistry, which she has never divulged, nature wraps up in the impulse of a strong desire, that something which recognizes no such word as impossible and accepts no reality as failure. He's very, very keen on the word desire. And a lot of other authors talk about desire as being a critical component to success as well. I see desire as the combination of vision and passion. That vision times your passion equals your desire, which fuels your success. Just having a vision alone without any passion behind that won't do anything for you. Having a great passion, if it's unfocused and unclear, then and not clarified in the context of a very strong vision, will not do anything for you at all. It's when when vision and passion combined that you can have that positive desire that Napoleon Hill talks about. So the big question for you is, do you have a burning desire? Have you expressed that desire very clearly? Do you have a crystal clear vision of the future that inspires you to greatness in the way that Mr. Hill advocates? In the chapter on faith, he says that faith is the eternal elixir which gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought, and faith removes all limitations. And many other authors believe in faith as well. They talk about it in terms of optimism, hope, belief in the possibility, and the power of positive thinking, which of course is Norman Vincent Peale's famous saying. So the question is, do you believe in your success? Do you believe that you deserve to be successful? Does your self-image and your faith support your desire? Do you have, because desire without faith is probably not going to go much of anywhere. And faith, I think, without a passionate desire, a very clear vision and the passion behind that, isn't going to go anywhere either. On imagination, he says, the imagination is literally the workshop wherein are fashioned all plans created by man, and that ideas are the beginning points of all fortune, that you have to imagine, to envision your success in a tremendous amount of detail in order to achieve that success that you want. And he says, and I quote, the moment you reduce the statement of your desire and a plan for its realization to writing, you have actually taken the first step in a series, or the first in a series of steps, which enable you to convert that thought into physical counterpart. By the way, I often do that with my clients. I often hand them a pen and a piece of paper and have them write down their idea for the very first time. When they fill out a business clarity questionnaire, it starts making the intangible tangible and starts taking that which was in their imagination and puts it into reality. So the question that I have for you is, are you using the power of your imagination to create your plans that lead to the success that you want? Can you see that path ahead vividly, clearly in your imagination, and are you walking it every day? In the chapter on decision, Napoleon Hill says, the world has a habit of making room for the man whose words and actions show that he knows where he is going. The analysis of several hundred people who have accumulated fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark, which, by the way, was a really big deal in 1937. That's like the $100 million mark or the $1 billion mark today. It disclosed the fact that every single one of them had the habit of reaching decisions promptly and changing these decisions very, very slowly, if at all, when they were changed. And he noted in his book that people who fail to accumulate money without exception have the habit of reaching decisions, if at all, very slowly, and of changing these decisions quickly and often. So the more firmly you decide and the more powerfully you hold on to your decisions, the more likely you are to be successful. So the question is, how decisive are you? Is your indecision a sign of a lack of desire or a lack of clarity or a lack of a plan or even a lack of passion? Because a lack of desire or lack of decisiveness can mean that you are falling short in one of those other critical areas of your life. Not enough passion, not enough clarity of vision, not enough desire, not enough faith, not enough imagination can be indications of poor decisiveness. In his in his chapter on persistence, he talks about persistence is an essential factor in the procedure of transmuting desires into their monetary equivalent. The basis of persistence is the power of will. Willpower and desire, where properly combined, make an irresistible pair. And by the way, persistence is one of the things that Think and Grow Rich is most well known for. It is really talked about, the power of persistence, and which I talk about in my books as the law of persistence, that says that if you persist, you will succeed, that nothing will ever stand in front of you if you persist until the end. He also says that persistence is the starting point of all achievements. No, he says the starting point of all achievements is desire, but if you find yourself lacking in persistence, that weakness may be remedied by building a stronger fire under your desires. So build up your passion, build up your vision, build up your imagination, and it will give you the persistence that you need, because it will have you keep your eyes on the prize and keep you focusing on the goal that you want to achieve. So the question is for you, how persistent are you and determined are you? How hard are you working? How hard are you demonstrating that persistence day after day after day? Are you letting the little things get you down, and you're letting the little tiny, molehills become mountains, or the little hurdles become roadblocks? A persistent person will find a way over, around, or through any roadblock that's put up in front of them. He also talks about the 6 ghosts of fear, and which I interpret as being the 6 most common fears that men and women have: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. And from his perspective, thought impulses of fear and poverty just cannot be translated into courage and financial gain. In other words, when you have one of those thoughts, the best thing that you can do is eliminate that thought. Understanding and knowing that fears are nothing more than states of mind. He says that the major reason he wrote this book in the first place, I think he intended, by the way, to keep this knowledge kind of secret knowledge to himself, or to be shared amongst just a few people. But during the height of the Depression in 1937, he wrote the book and said that the major reason that he wrote the book on how to get money was that millions of people, men and women, were paralyzed by the fear of poverty. And so he decided to let these secrets out. And of course, as I said earlier when we started, they weren't secrets at all. They've been shouted from the rooftops for centuries, for millennium actually. But every once in a while it takes messengers like Napoleon Hill to remind us of the power that we have to control our own attitudes, to control our own subconscious mind, and achieve the success that we want. So the question to you is, what scares you? Are any one of those 6 fears, or any other fears that you have, getting in the way of your success? Do you need to muster up a little more courage in order to do the things that you are uncomfortable doing, or the things that you are frightened to do? What fears are holding you back is a really, really powerful question to ask yourself from time to time. And so those are the 6 chapters which I think combine for one of the most powerful concepts of the book. Concept number 1, that your attitude is the most critical component of your success. Given that, there's really great news, because concept number 2, he talks about how our attitudes are controllable in the 2 chapters that I picked out, the one on the subconscious mind and the chapter on autosuggestion. In the chapter on the subconscious mind, he says your subconscious mind is really who you are. Many people say that 80 to 90% or even more of the decisions that we make, the responses that we have, the reactions that we have to external events in our life are controlled at the subconscious level. We think that we control ourselves consciously, but we really don't. Most of our decisions are made subconsciously, which is why it's so important for us to train and manage our subconscious mind. Your attitudes, your personality, and your success are dependent upon what goes on inside your head more than what goes on in the external world. And a very large part of our behavior and communication occurs subconsciously. Many people will say that something like, 60-70% of all our communication is nonverbal. Maybe even 90% of all of our communication is nonverbal when you count in the tone of voice. The words, as I recall from a previous office hours presentation, the actual words that we use in our communication are only 7% of the communication. 93% of the communication happens with our body language and with our tone of voice, with the look that we have on our faces, whether we're carrying ourselves with a smile or a scowl. So it's really important for you to manage your subconscious mind so you can communicate effectively from a very powerful and positive subconscious existence. The thought impulses that you have, both negative and positive, are reaching your subconscious mind continuously, and you have the power, I have the power, we all have the power to voluntarily plant in our subconscious minds any plan, thought, or purpose that we desire, so that it will immediately begin to translate itself into its physical or monetary equivalent. In The Power of Autosuggestion, he says that man may become master of himself and of his environment because he has the power to influence his own subconscious mind. He says that autosuggestion is the agency of control through which an individual may voluntarily feed his or her subconscious mind on thoughts of a creative nature, or by neglect permit those thoughts of a destructive nature to find their way into the rich garden of your mind. Whatever thoughts that you have are being planted in that rich garden of your mind, and they will bear fruit. So it's your choice. Do we plant positive thoughts and attitudes in our subconscious mind, or do we allow the seeds of destruction through negative and shadow energy to find a place there? So his advice on the subconscious mind is shut off the flow of your negative impulses. Voluntarily influence your subconscious mind through positive impulses of desire. And when you achieve this, you will possess the key that unlocks the door to your subconscious mind. And you will control that door so completely that no undesirable thought may influence your subconscious mind at all. In The Power of Autosuggestion, he says that any impulse of thought which is repeatedly passed to the subconscious mind is finally accepted and acted upon by the subconscious mind, which proceeds to translate that impulse to its physical equivalent by the most practical means available. That same thought has been said in many different ways, paraphrased by many different people out there, but generally it is that thoughts become things, that the seeds that are running around in your subconscious mind begin to manifest themselves in physical reality. So the question for you is, what are you doing every day to condition your subconscious mind? Are you listening to recordings or focusing on personal affirmations? Do you have a picture of that realized vision that inspires you? Are you taking advantage of the opportunity that you have to change yourself in a hurry? In fact, one of the principles that Napoleon Hill states in this book that I'm going to echo is that it only takes a minute to change your life. You can change your life with a single decision to plant positive thoughts in your subconscious mind repeatedly over time. It really does only take a minute to change your life, and in fact, I believe that your life is only changed 1 minute, one thought, one attitude, one vision, one desire at a time. In concept number 3 from the book, Napoleon Hill says, don't go it alone. He talks about this in 3 different chapters on specialized knowledge, on organized planning, and the concept of the mastermind itself. With regards to specialized knowledge, he says no individual has sufficient experience, education, native ability, and the knowledge to ensure the accumulation of great fortune without the cooperation of other people. For business leaders, in fact, Napoleon Hill didn't value personal education very much at all. He valued instead the ability of a leader to find, organize, and use the knowledge that other people had. He said that any man is educated who knows where to get the knowledge when he needs it and how to organize that knowledge into definite plans of action. I talk about this a lot when I talk about my key performance areas, the 7 key performance areas of business: leadership, marketing, sales, operations and administration, product development, financial management, and customer service. It takes not only specialized skill in each one of these areas, But I'll go a step further and say it takes a different mindset as well. So there's the mindset of leadership. There's the mindset of operations administration, the mindset of marketing. And I believe it's impossible for any one person to hold each one of these mindsets perfectly in their head simultaneously. You may understand them from time to time, but you can't be an expert at all things. That's the law of excellence, one of my laws. The law of excellence says it's quite possibly excellent at 2 or 3 or 4 things, but you can't be excellent at all things. So ask yourself, what specialized knowledge do you need to further your success? And do you know where to get it? I oftentimes say that the most important question that a person can ever ask in business is, who can I get on my team to help me form a great team? The number one question in all of business. And that's all about getting the specialized knowledge, the right skills, the right talents, the right mindsets on your team so you can do everything that needs to be done in your business to cultivate your success. Also with this particular concept is the concept of the mastermind. He says that your achievements can be no greater than your plans are sound, and the mastermind is defined as the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between 2 or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. He was a big believer in getting together with other people and brainstorming and masterminding and coming up with plans, never coming up with a plan on your own, but coming up with a plan in the company of others because of the magic that was involved in that masterminding process. It not only gave you economic advantage in terms of the advice, counsel, and cooperation of others, lending wholeheartedly to the spirit of perfect harmony, but it also gave you psychic advantage. And he says, quote, "No 2 minds may come together without thereby creating a third invisible, intangible force, which may be likened to a third mind." That takes us to concept number 4, which is there's something magic going on here. Before we get there, let me just ask you, with whom are you collaborating? Do you have a masterminding, brainstorming team that you're regularly participating in? Who's encouraging you and supporting you? With whom do you brainstorm and talk over the major decisions about your business? Again, my encouragement is don't go it alone. Get a team. Find a group of people that you can join in masterminding for each other with and support each other in the ways of the masterminding. In concept number 4 from the book, Napoleon Hill says, well, I say that I think he's talking about something magic going on there. And there are 5 chapters that I think he talks very specifically about this. Thoughts are things, the power of the mastermind, the subconscious mind, the brain, and a chapter on the 6th sense, which almost directly says, hey, there's something magic going on there. He says that an intangible impulse of thought can be transmuted into material rewards. So he wasn't just talking about the power of thinking from a theoretical point of view. He talked about it from a very mystical, magical point of view. He says that the subconscious mind is the connecting link between the finite mind of a man and infinite intelligence, that the subconscious mind is that link, that connection between you and I and any of the guidance that the angels, the spirits, the ethereal beings of all kinds have to bring into our lives. He believed that there was an invisible counselor, an infinite intelligence, the 6th sense, and guardian angels, which would come to the aid of any moral and righteous person. He believed that faith was entirely justified, and not only was it justified, it was a gift, and that by having faith, we would actually facilitate the creation of things in our life. So my question to you, especially with regards to chapter 4 here, is what do you believe? Do you believe that there's something magical and mystical going on in life? Do you believe that thoughts really can become things? Do you believe in the power of the mastermind? Do you believe that there are angels and guardians and your spiritual team that will come to bear and help you when you have the right faith, when you have the right desire, the right vision, the right passion, and that you've clearly expressed that and are working with others toward that? Those to me are the fundamentals of the book, Think and Grow Rich. That your attitude is the most critical component of your success, that your attitudes are controllable, that you can't do it alone, that you shouldn't do it alone, and most importantly, that there's something magic going on in life. As I studied Napoleon Hill 13 or 14 years ago, I came across some paraphrasing that a gentleman named Bill Harris has done. Bill Harris has a company called Centerpoint Technology and a marvelous product called Holosync that I purchased many, many years ago. And in the process of studying this, I found his paraphrasing of Napoleon Hill's comments on the power of goals, which are echoing most of what he said today. So I'm going to read this to you because I found it to be so powerful. I love to quote other people when I think that they have said something so well that I can't improve upon it. And this is an example of something that I'm proud to quote. So Bill Harris, as paraphrasing Napoleon Hill, says, "A number of things happen as soon as you become clear about a goal. It causes you to develop self-reliance, personal initiative, imagination, enthusiasm, self-discipline, and concentration of effort. It encourages you to specialize and attracts to you the specialized knowledge you need to achieve your purpose. It induces you to budget your time and money and plan your daily affairs so as to lead to the attainment of your goals. It makes your mind more alert to opportunities related to your purpose and gives you the courage to act upon these opportunities when they appear. It develops the capacity to reach decisions quickly and firmly, and it inspires the cooperation of others and attracts their favorable attention." I like this so much that in addition to the slides that we're going to post in our office hours page on the website, I'm also going to post a one-page version of this. 10 or 15 years ago when I started to be a business consultant, I printed this out and I framed it and put it on my wall where I could look at it every day, and I encourage you to do exactly the same thing. So here's the bottom line. Find and connect with your passion. Clearly define and express your goals and focus on them every single day. Work every day to train your subconscious mind so that you develop your attitudes, the self-image, and perspectives that make you happy, healthy, and powerful. Find the joy and the magic of working with others. Achieve greatness through the brilliance and efforts of others, because and to everybody out there, please know that being rich is about having a lot of about what matters most to you. It's about achieving success, whatever success means to you, in every area of your life. Napoleon Hill primarily talks about it in terms of money because the book is about Think and Grow Rich. But I encourage you to apply these same principles to other areas of your life as well. To summarize in the way that I summarize it, the 5 C's of success: connect with your passion, control your thoughts, condition your subconscious mind, collaborate with other people, create and execute great plans, and you can have the success that you want. Remembering all along that it only takes 1 minute, it only takes a minute to change your life. That's been our message for today. We had an overview of Think and Grow Rich. We talked about the fundamentals of success. We talked about goal achievement and the bottom line. So here's the exercises for you. Get Think and Grow Rich and read it for yourself. Like I say, it's available for free on the internet. And as I mentioned earlier, find and connect with your passion. Clearly define and express your goals every day. Work every day to train your subconscious mind. Find the joy and the magic of working with others, because being rich is about having a lot about what matters to you. It's about achieving success and whatever success means to you in your life. And of course, get coaching and consulting support to accelerate your growth and progress if you need support in these areas. In just a minute, we're going to have open questions and answers. First, comments and questions on the topic of the day, and then any other issues and topics that you want to talk about. Tell me what your biggest takeaways are and what the insights are that you got from this presentation. Tell me what you're going to focus on. My distinctions are, as a business consultant and coach, that I focus on the entire person. I don't want a lot of your money. I want you to be successful, and many times that means not giving somebody a lot of your money. I just want you to get the support that you want, need, and can use and can afford so that you can get the success that you need. I don't want you to jump into the deep into the swimming pool without learning how to swim. And I don't believe that belief and persistence are necessary. I believe they're necessary but not sufficient. Just like Napoleon Hill, I believe that you need the support of others. I believe that you need a viable business model, and you need a lot of support in order to achieve your success. And that's why we offer education, training, consulting, and coaching support services and our growth management services to actually do it with you. We can teach you through education, training, coaching, and advising and mentoring, but sometimes we roll up our sleeves and do it with you in the context of advising and consulting and growth management services. And sometimes in our consulting services, we'll do it for you as well. I encourage you to sign up for our Business Growth Acceleration Kit if you haven't done so already at paulhoyt.com/CEO bonus. You get the 5 choices of winning CEOs, which I think are the 5 most important choices that you can make as a CEO. An article on the 10 things that you should know about raising capital, some samples of my inspirational work. If you hadn't guessed so already, I'm not just a business consultant, but I'm also a motivational and inspirational speaker and author as well. You also get a free business clarity session with me or one of my colleagues and some surprise bonuses as well when you sign up for the Business Growth Acceleration Kit at paulhoyt.com/CEO bonus. I think the value of that is enormous. When you're ready, I also encourage you to purchase the CEO training program, which has many, many great business success principles in it at beyondbusinesssurvival.com. It's what you need to know when you're the CEO to avoid making mistakes that slow you down or shut you down. As Nick Catricala says, this program is worth at least 20 times what you'll pay for it. And Nick has been an entrepreneur for a long, long time and says now he finally understands what he needs to do to succeed. Our next office hours presentation is next Monday, December the 1st. I haven't chosen a topic for that yet. If you have some suggestions for me, please go to paulsurvey.com and let me know, or simply send me an email or give me a text or a phone call. Let me know what you would like for me to talk about. I think we'll be consistent with the theme of talking about the messages of some really great business books out there. And after the first of the year, I think we're going to change the focus of office hours a little bit, and we'll be talking about having very specialized experts in many of the different areas of business join me for the call. So now we're going to open it up to questions and answers. First, comments and questions on the topic of the day, then any other issues. Give me some ideas about what I might talk about for future office hours presentations, and contact me in any one of these ways. Stephanie, do we have any questions or comments on today's call?
We do. We have several comments on good program. We have a comment from Don. Paul, you are spectacular. Your message was clear, concise, and impactful. Keep doing what you are doing as you are preparing for our future together. Thanks for who you are and what you are about to become. That's beautiful.
That was beautiful. Don, thank you so much for that. We are, each one of us, myself, the other members of my team, and each and every one of you on the call live or listening to the recording, we're all in a constant state of becoming hopefully a little happier, a little wiser, a little more powerful, a little more joyful, a little more peaceful and loving person in our life. Those are the things that I focus on. And the message of Think and Grow Rich and of so many other inspirational, motivational speakers is that we have control over that process, that with the right focus and the right actions and attitudes, that we can become the person we want to be. I often say that my greatest success in life is becoming the person that I always wanted to be. Can you imagine that for yourself? Can you imagine becoming the person that you always wanted to be? My guess is that that's really quite a beautiful, powerful, wonderful person. And my strong belief is, my knowingness is, that you can become the person that you want to be too.
Beautiful.
Next question, Stephanie, or comment.
Is there anything you disagree with from the book?
That's a very good question. I would say that there's just one thing that I disagree with from the book, and that is that the book was primarily written in a male-dominated society. every once in a while he talks about women, as being potentially powerful too. But my experience is that women are, equal in their power to any man that I have ever known. And I wish it would have been written a little bit more focused on the power that women have to change their subconscious mind, to connect with their desire, and to become just as powerful as any man ever thought to become as well. In fact, I believe that our world, our entire planet, would be better served if there were far more women in leadership positions. There's something about motherhood, there's something about the divine feminine that I have the greatest admiration for. So that would be my one message, is that this book was written from the perspective of a man in a male-dominated society, and I just want my my sisters out there to know how much I believe in them too. Next, Stephanie. I see a couple of comments here. I'm assuming that Stephanie will be back with us in just a second. Darlene wrote a comment. Darlene wrote a comment that says that that Sharon Lecter just wrote Think and Grow Rich for women that address this very thing. I haven't written that book. I haven't read that book, pardon me. But I'm very glad that she did that. So for all the ladies out there, maybe you can get great value from Think and Grow Rich for Women that Sharon Lecter just wrote. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Beautiful. Yep, you said what I was trying to say while muted. Next question.
Okay.
What is the chapter on the mystery of sex transmutation all about?
You'll notice as I went through all the different chapters, I didn't talk about the chapter on the mystery of sex transmutation. But that's, well, in that particular chapter, he made a couple of points. One of the points he made was that in talking to all the men that he talked about, that I guess many of them had very strong sexual desires, that they believed that, their sexual energy contributed a tremendous amount to their success, and they really wanted the ability to express that sexual energy a tremendous amount in their lives. They also said, as a second point, was that they were motivated by women, that they wanted to please other women, and that being seen as a very powerful, wealthy person, I think it increased their sexual attractiveness quite a bit. So that's what the mystery of sex transmutation was all about, that some of our most powerful energy is expressed through sexual energy, and that we could harness that energy and take that to our benefit in other areas of our life. Most people don't talk about the chapter on sex transmutation, or the mystery of sex transmutation, and I tried not to as well, but that's what it was all about. Again, you can read it for yourself, picking up the book free online and taking a look at it if you'd like to. Next question, Stephanie.
All righty. Next question. Is there such a thing as too much desire?
I think that there are, that's a good question. I think that there are different types of desire. There's, I think, a positive desire and a negative desire. So I don't think you can have too much positive desire, but I do believe that you can have too much negative desire. And here's the difference in between those. If you believe that the thing that you desire is so necessary that you cannot be happy without it, that there is no possibility in your life of being happy and fulfilled and successful without having that object of your desire, I believe that's shadow energy and actually puts up a roadblock in between you and the thing that you desire. That you have to pursue it with some sense of knowingness I think that there's a little bit of a lightheartedness that's necessary in order to accomplish that which you want to accomplish and achieve that which you want to achieve. So I've seen many people out there that just said, you know, I've got to have this, I've got to have this. And they come at it with a bit of a whining, desperate energy. And that whining, desperate energy, you know, I've got to have the woman of my dreams, I've got to have $1 million, I've got to have that boat, that car, that whatever. If it's with a sense of desperation and, you know, and comes from a place of lack and scarcity, then I think that energy actually stands in between where we are and achieving that object of our desire. So yes, I believe that you can have too much desire if in doing so that desire has some shadow energy attached to that desire. Did that make sense to you, Stephanie? And anyone else too?
Yes, it made a lot of sense.
Okay, good. So, yeah, I think we have to, I used to say to myself, by the way, that it was my goal to have no desires. And what I meant by that was that I wanted to see everything as a positive, as that next step, that my life is okay, that I'm going to be just fine the way that I am. I'm going to find a way to make do and be happy every moment of my life. But I sure would like to experience that thing. I'd like to go on that vacation. I'd like to have that new car. I'd like to have that new house. I'd like to have those millions of dollars in the bank. But I'm going to be happy and I'm going to be fulfilled in my life whether I have them or not. And that's what I meant by my phrase, it is my goal to have no desires, because I didn't want to have a desire from the sense of scarcity or lack. Next question.
Beautiful. What matters most to you? What is your biggest desire?
That's kind of a personal question, but I'm happy to share that. What matters most to me is my family, especially my wife and kids, my parents, my brothers, my sisters, and my brothers from another mother. You know, to be able to take care of this lovely lady that I've been married to now for 39 and a half years, that I've known for 40 years, is the most important thing to me. And success in life to me is taking care of her, you know, as we go through the next, you know, few decades of our life. So that's the most important thing to me. And in order to do that, health and vitality are real important. Having a positive mindset is very, very important to me. You know, I work hours of every single day on managing my subconscious mind, on what I call the practice of awakening, that focus and attention on becoming the person that I've always wanted to be, and now becoming an even better, more positive, more powerful, more loving, happier, wiser, stronger person, a more peaceful person than I ever have been in my life. And you know, I stand as a living testimonial to the power of transforming yourself at a subconscious level, to the power that we all have to condition ourselves at the subconscious level to effect, in essence, a personality transplant over a period of decades and become the person that you want to be, and then to look out at the future and say, oh my goodness, I am so excited about experiencing more love, more peace, more joy, more strength, more wisdom in my life, and know that you're going to do that every single day. So that's what I desire the most, to take care of my wife and to become an even better, more inspirational, wiser, happier, more loving person than I have ever been before. That's it for me. Question for all of you who are listening to the call and attending live is, what is it for you? What is your desire? What is your greatest thing that you wish to be, that you wish to do, that you wish to have? There's this havingness goals, things that we wish to have. There's these doingness goals, experiences that we wish to have in our life. And there's this beingness goal, the person that you want to be. I encourage you to get in touch with your goals in all three of those ways. I encourage you to download the sheet of paper that I'm going to put up on the website on Bill Harris's paraphrasing of Napoleon Hill's wisdom when it comes to goals, and focus on that, because I believe that you can have what you want to have, that you can do what you want to do, and most importantly, that you can be the person that you want to be. And with that, I think we'll wrap up this call. So until we meet the next time, this is Paul Hoyt, wishing each and every one of you a most marvelous and prosperous day. Bye-bye.